हमारे मतलब यही है कि अफगानिस्तान में अमन आएगा, इसमें हम माफी करेंगे इंशाल्लाह, कोई के भी इंतकाम जुई नहीं करेंगे।
Taliban, a terrible saga that may continue. Despite assurances by the Taliban that they want peace in Afghanistan, why is it that the Afghans and the world are terrified of them? Why is it that the seizure of Kabul is so important and so scary all at the same time? Known as the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, the Taliban are a product of a prominent faction of the Afghan civil war. The Taliban emerged in the year 1994, consisting of Talibs, that is students from eastern and southern provinces of Afghanistan. Now, the Taliban came into power in Afghanistan in the year 1996. In the name of Sharia, the Taliban committed massive massacres against their own people. They burned fertile lands of people and homes, committed cultural genocide, including destroying the 1,500-year-old Buddhas of Bamiyan. Women in Afghanistan were not allowed to be schooled or venture out without a male relative. They were supposed to cover themselves up completely, and if they did not follow the Sharia rules or the rules of the Taliban, they were either whipped or even executed publicly. The US invasion of Afghanistan after the 9/11 attacks led to the fall of the Taliban regime at the time. After the US bombardments in Afghanistan, the Taliban finally surrendered in Kandahar in 2001. But that did not stop the Taliban from continuing its offensive against the US government, as also continuing an insurgency operation against the US-backed administration in Kabul. And it continued for 20 years since. In the year 2020, a peace agreement was signed between the United States of America and the Taliban. The peace deal contained terms and conditions for power-sharing negotiations with the Afghan government, and thus began the intra-Afghan talks. In 2021, US President Biden went along with his predecessor's decision and announced the troop withdrawal of the United States of America from Afghanistan by September 11th, which is the 20th anniversary of 9/11 attacks.
Their country to defend now. This is their struggle. The commander-in-chief has given us a new mission, and that mission is to draw down by the end of this month, and that's where we're moving to. What it looks like beyond that, I'm simply not going to speculate. But this is their country. These are their military forces. These are their provincial capitals. Their people to defend, and it's really going to come down to the leadership that they're willing to exude here at this particular moment.
Interestingly, it didn't take days for the Taliban to overthrow the Afghan administration. Despite all the assurances that came Afghanistan's way and the international community's way from the Taliban. With the resignation and eventual exit of Ashraf Ghani from Afghanistan, it is quite clear that the Taliban are going to be part of the Kabul administration. It is quite possible that Afghanistan's history of horror might repeat itself, despite the assurances given by Taliban spokesperson that rights of women, of minorities, and of education for children will be maintained. Afghanistan is staring at a bleak future, and it seems like the ultra-conservative Sharia law might be the way of life for Afghanistan and its helpless people.